Galaga guys, right? And all of a sudden, the pixel lady from whatever game that was called shows up, and she morphs into the actress, a human lady.
Who, by the way, is a real actress who has been in other things where she delivers lines, which she doesn't do in this film.
I'm sorry, lady. I hope you're a good actress.
Was her line, keep putting it in my vagina?
Are you implying that she is a pornographic actress?
That's what I was implying.
Oh, okay.
Close. She was in a Harmony Korine film.
Oh.
That's like an embarrassing porno.
But she's a real lady for some reason.
Yeah.
She's a real lady for some reason, and she starts attacking Josh.
For no reason.
Huh?
For no reason. You said for some reason. For no reason is more accurate.
There is no reason because they don't know that Josh Gad is in love with her. If they knew, then that would be a good reason to make her into a real lady, to trick him for some reason.
Oh,
if
it's
they
the
could
aliens
read
there.
our brains, yeah.
Yeah.
But there is no reason. So Jay is correct. For some reason is wrong.
Okay, you know what? I take that back then. I take that back.
But anyway.
She turns into a lady. And, Josh Gad has what is supposed to be a comedy moment, and I love you, I've always loved you, and then she starts attacking him because she's the bad guy. But then, for no reason, Josh Gad stops fighting her and professes his love.
Again.
No, well, that's actually wrong. He professes his love for some reason, because he actually is in love with her. For no reason,
I was
she
gonna
gets
get to the no
emotional.
reason.
Yes.
That's what I was going to get to, is for no reason then she decides to join up with the humans.
Yeah.
Look, at that point in the movie, does it matter?
Yes, everything matters.
I think some level of logic does matter in a movie.
Well, okay. No, it doesn't. As long as the movie is funny and entertaining.
Okay, fair
Because you're not supposed to believe that pixelated characters come to Earth. It's so stupid. You can't take that concept seriously. So if you can't take the concept seriously, at least have jokes.
But they have Madonna on the TV saying, "We will destroy you."
Because remember the 80s? Remember the 80s? Remember these 80s rock songs? We're going to play those throughout the whole film.
I have some issues.
Good.
The aliens get their information from a probe that was sent out in 1982.
I was just about to talk about this.
Yeah, but there's things that show up from after 1982. Like Max Headroom, I don't think it was a thing until like 84?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
A little bit later, yeah.
Really, Rich, for a second, I thought you were going to talk about how a probe sent out in 1982 would probably be near the inner solar system only. The Voyager probe sent out in the 70s is just barely leaving our solar system. So at least in Star Trek The Motion Picture, they speculate that the Voyager probe may have entered a wormhole. You could come up with any bullshit excuse to have aliens turn themselves into video games and attack the Earth, but you gotta make it funny.
I will say the one positive thing I have to say about the movie is all of the video game characters and the pixelized bricks, those all look neat.
Yeah.
And that's the only positive thing I really have to say.
And there was I hadn't seen the short film before we saw this. There was one moment during the big end battle that was I thought it was a really clever visual gag, and I was like, that's way too smart. That has to be from the short film. And it turns out that it was. And so when the Tetris pieces are falling onto the building, and then they line up and they go, and then the building collapses. I was like, that's way too smart for this movie, and it turns out it's directly taken from the short.
The computer animators, the visual effects people, the distracting part for me was I saw the laziness come through it. I saw Adam Sandler going, well, we could shoot the stuff. We don't have to do anything. Mm-hmm. We'll just hand it off to this company that'll make all the things happen. I remember seeing like a pan-around shot, and the only two things in the frame are like Peter Dinklage and Josh Gad, and they got the guns.
Oh, sure.
There's just all this stuff going on. They're just going, okay, we're done. And Adam Sandler runs by, and
I really noticed it during the first alien attack, the centipede attack. But yeah, and then at one point Adam Sandler grabs a gun because he's like, "You're doing it wrong. There's a pattern," and he starts shooting, and you can tell, like, he has the most bored expression on his face, where he's just like,
yeah.
And he's like, they're just gonna add everything in later, whatever, and he just does this.
Yeah.
I was shocked initially at the start of that scene, because they're like, the next spot's gonna be in London, and they have like a stock footage shot of them flying over London. Then it cuts to them in like a field with like trees, and it's London because there are soccer players there.
You don't think they actually shot that in London?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they didn't. Right? I'm like, I want to see Big Ben get smashed, and you know
The big Ferris wheel.
the Thames River, right? And the London Bridge is falling down. It fell down. And then Adam Sandler says, "London Bridge is falling down. It's no time for nursery rhymes. No, for real." But anyway, they go to a field. There's a field. Yes. The centipede does go onto a street, but you know it's just a street, and it goes through like some old lady's apartment building. I guess there is a deaf elderly person joke there, right?
Yes.
The old lady's doing like.
The centipede goes into her apartment and she's doing aerobics. She doesn't
That's
notice.
perfectly acceptable. The centipede does aerobics for a little bit.
See, and I guess this is too much to ask for this movie, but that shows like the whole idea is that they're following the formulas of these video games, but that's like for no reason the centipede just stops doing that and attacks the city.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't. They're beating the game by the game's rules, but then the game just doesn't play by the rules.
It just does whatever it wants so we can have an action scene.
But so remember that whole scene that was supposed to be in the movie. We need the scene where the geek prevails, right? Like, no, my geeky crazy methods are better than your standard military methods, right? But at that point, he had been already training the military guys on how to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So then why wouldn't they let him do it too?
Yeah, right.
Because he was.
Or why wouldn't they do the things that they were just trained to do in the previous scene?
Well, they were. Yeah, that's a good point. They weren't as good as him. Sure. But yeah, if he's a consultant, why, you know, the logic that he ran up and took over was the logic of, I'm a bystander behind the police line who thinks he knows better, and I'm going to jump over and run past security and do it.
Because they really cared about realism, and it would have been too silly if he just went right into the thick of things from the start.
But he was in there, like he was.
He was trying to tell them what to do, and they're like, Brian Cox or whoever, Sean Bean, maybe, I don't even remember. One of them was just like, don't listen to that guy, even though we've been listening to that guy for the last 10 minutes.
Well,
The entire previous scene.
Yeah.
I think the Brian Cox character had like a nerd prejudice, right? And then he was like,
I don't know what's better, losing to the aliens or letting these guys.
yeah, like he was very angry, and that's fine. That's like a movie character, and I expected him to do something to, like, I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna get the nukes out, and oh no, you know, like. But instead, he just kind of like goes,
And then he just sort of disappears from
and then it ends. Yeah.
Yeah, they really needed to try and use like conventional military things against them because they never do that,
There was
and then just have it completely fail. Yeah. And then that's when your Adam Sandler jumps in with the video game logic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, that would've been-
the first attempt to stop them is us shooting missiles or sending military jets. You know,
They needed to remake Independence Day.
they were lazy with their framework. We always say it's a framework to hang stuff on.
Yeah,
They
to
were
hang
lazy
jokes
with
on.
their framework. Like having Kevin James be the president of the United States, who just happened to be friends with Adam Sandler as a kid. Like, terrible.
Yeah.
At least have just some stuffy president, have a military attempt fail, and then go, oh, these are video games. We better dig up these schmucks from, you know, the gutter to come up and help. Instead, from the beginning, Adam Sandler was like hanging out in the White House, like lazy writing.
Yeah.
Shit.
So you need a framework to hang jokes on, but this movie had no framework and it had no jokes.
No. It had nothing but what you got from the 2-minute short,
Which is the good stuff.
which is the good stuff.
Yeah.
The 2-minute short had everything that this movie had, without wading through these fucking boring scenes where Adam Sandler was talking to people endlessly for hours. It was just fucking boring.
Yeah.
It was more cinematic looking than recent Adam Sandler movies, though, because it was directed by Chris Columbus, who I guess
The guy who founded America?
the guy who founded America. Actually, Chris Columbus's company is like 1492 Productions or something like that. But his best work was done in the 80s.
Yeah,
so
is
there's
he the
that
one
connection.
who's directing the fucking racist Indian film?
I didn't progress.
Early on, Peter Dinklage in the 1982 beats Adam Sandler as a kid at the Donkey Kong World Championship.
Yes.
And Adam Sandler thought he was the best. And blah, blah, blah. Flash forward to the Pac-Man scene where they're all driving around in little cars. And the lady, what's her name?
Michelle Moynihan.
Michelle Moynihan is watching the screen, and Peter Dinklage's ghost car goes real fast, which is not physically possible with a real car.
Right.
But anyway, she's like, how did he do that? Never mind. And then they brought it up later. He, on his inside of his sunglasses, he has this like mathematical formula, which is
cheat codes.
which is a cheat code.
Yeah.
And apparently he had used a cheat code in the 1982 while playing Donkey Kong, and he also used them on Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Rich Evans, you are a Pac-Man expert.
Yeah.
This is true about Rich Evans.
Okay.
He's played a lot of Pac-Man.
He loves swallowing balls.
Is there such a thing as a Pac-Man cheat code?
No, there is no such thing as a Pac-Man cheat code. I don't think any of those old arcade games had cheat codes.
Well, here's a better question. How do you use a cheat code in reality to make a car go ultra fast?
Oh,
Because the car has a cheat code
I guess.
built into it that makes it go really fast.
That's the, like, I'm okay, like, okay, cheat code in Pac-Man, whatever. It doesn't make any sense, but it's a movie. But it's the reality of, like, he uses a cheat code on his car that he's driving?
That was a terrible way to introduce the fact that he's a cheater.
Yeah.
That's his character, and that's fine as an angle. He's a cheater. Well, actually, it makes no sense at the end either.
See, that's my
Oh
real
no,
problem.
it is because at the end, what's his name? Adam Sandler. He realizes he is the Donkey Kong champ, and that gives him the
confidence to
confidence to go ahead and fight the Donkey Kong and not be scared anymore.
Yeah.
So all that led to that, which is fine.
No, but see, that's my real problem. Like, you know what? The cheat code works on the car because fuck it, it's a movie. I am okay with that because you know why? It's a movie and I don't care.
I'm with Rich's face on this one.
Sure.
Cupid? Can I kill it? No. We've tried to stay true to the real games themselves in the context of doing something in a three-dimensional world.
You know what else wasn't funny? Anytime Qbert talked. Because Qbert talks now. And they gave him, whoever did his voice, fine, he talks.
Give him a
it's fine.
cutesy voice.
They gave him a cutesy voice, and I noticed that was the only thing that anyone in the theater responded to, because our theater was like dead silent. And occasionally when Qbert would say something, people like go, oh.
But he's an adorable character that everybody loves. And then in the end, he kind of gets erased and turned into a woman, and everybody's happy about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That was so weird.
Josh Gad gets the woman as a trophy. The woman is a literal trophy in the movie.
She's such a strong woman. She's tough and nothing stops her. I think it's important for girls to see that they can do anything the guys can do.
He fucks a woman, and then in the post-credit thing, he has Qbert babies.
Yeah.
She apparently gave birth to Qbert babies. You'd think Qbert by himself would just suffice. I mean, look at his mouth. And plus, he's not going to talk afterwards.
Describe Qbert fellatio more. I think this is what we need.
What a weirdo.
There's so little room left in my heart for Adam Sandler hate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, like, watching this, like, people go into Adam Sandler movies now, people like us, wanting to, like, hate them and rip them apart, and there's a lot of that online right now for Pixels. It's almost not even worthy of getting angry about. It's more just sort of, like, confusing and sad and boring.
Sad is the appropriate word.
Yeah, because you look at Jack and Jill, and a movie like that was frustrating at how transparent the sleaze was in it.
That was eye-opening for us.
It was very eye-opening. Yeah. This is sad or pathetic. It feels very pathetic. I like the Pac-Man sequence. That was about it. Other than that, I felt sorry for every actor in it.
You know, we both talk about we're getting older, man, and we're going to have to pull the plug someday, but every time we do it, we go, hey, man, this idea is pretty fun, and we get excited again.
Adam Sandler he's like the sad clown now, where he's not even trying, and it's like watching Orson Welles doing a wine commercial.
The French champagne.
Action, please.
The French.
Like, remember in any other movie where aliens attack the Earth, how the aliens' first attack has a massive build-up to it?
Yes.
And there's some excitement, there's some tension in there because we don't know what's coming, and all of a sudden, boom, the attack comes. And remember how in Pixels, they just show up fucking 5 minutes into the
It's
movie?
just like, what is it, Guam? Is that where they're at? It just says Guam, and then they just go, pew!
Wait a minute. Are you guys saying Pixels fucked something up? Is that your point?
That's the general consensus, yes.
Huh.
I know this changes everything.
Well, I think we're finally done talking about Pixels.
You're fired.
What?
Yeah, but thank you so much for helping out at the shop. We really appreciate it.
It's an improvement, darling.
All right, that's fair, I guess, but you guys do plan to pay us, right? You know, for all the shifts we took?
I don't recall ever discussing payment. I thought you guys were just doing it because you liked us.
Who are you kidding? Nobody likes you.
Get out.
Fine. You win for now, nerds. We'll leave, but first we'd like to go on the back. We left some personal items back there we need to collect. They're next to your safe, which we have the combination to. Okay.
Great, that's no problem. I told you those guys were pushovers.
Right. No paycheck, no more VCR repair shop.
Jay and Mike, you fuckers left me to freeze to death on that mountain, and for that, you're going to die!
No, him, you hit him for, no!
Oh, fuck! Bonzadalyevich, you son of a bitch. Die, Jay, or Mike, or whichever one of you I'm currently stabbing. You didn't fix my VCR. Why didn't you fix my VCR? I just wanted to watch Night Court, and you tried to freeze me to death. Take that, Mike and Jay. You motherfuckers left me on a mountain to die. Almost starved to death in goddamn Nepal.
Well, that was disappointing.
I can't believe they have the only existing copy of The Day the Clown Cried.
Who cares? Is that worth anything?
It is to Jerry Lewis.
What the fuck? Oh my god, it's a bloodbath.
Burn in hell, you motherfuckers.
Mr. Plinkett?
What? Who's that? Who's talking? I can't see anything. My glasses are too frosted from the fucking cold.
Why, my name is Mark.
And I'm Jim.
Oh, what do you guys do?
We repair VCRs.
Oh, that's great, because I need my VCR fixed. Okay, that makes sense. I'll be right back. So cold.
let's start with an incompetent sin for Konami for never re-releasing this game on any modern system and leaving it locked on the PlayStation 3. I was forced to use PlayStation Plus to even play this game on Sony's servers and deal with input lag. What's with the weird live-action television shows I can watch before starting the game? As far as setting the stage goes, it's a complete failure. The only plus is that it gave David Hayter an on-screen role. I just remembered why I never bought a PlayStation 3. All of the games were hideous looking. I honestly believe MGS 3 looks better than MGS 4. The Dead Sea Scrolls had more color than this game.
Pony, concert starts in 30 minutes. Let's get through some of the wonky ones. Mostly, I want to headdress with shorts. Hi, Twilight! Hey, Rarity. After I saw your band will play here too, I figured I'd say hi and see how it goes. I'm really curious. Rock Techno in Canterlot was always my favorite music festival. Can't believe we are actually playing here. Right. Also, I still can't believe that we got so much into music after all these years. And I do mean hard music. It is just really great. Also is making new rules and having finally time to do music myself. Darling, I always knew that little nerd in you had a soft spot for electric synthwave. Yeah. And who knew there's such a metal-based fashion pony inside you? Almost Did shocking. You never notice my huge Rumbach poster on the wall? Especially their singer, Will Lindemann is such a handsome stallion. Rarity. Nice blush there. Honest. It needs to be about 20% cooler. Each one of us has something special that makes us different, that makes us rare. We have a light that shines within us, that we were always meant to share. And when we come together, combine the light that shines within, there is nothing we can't do, there is no battle we can't win. When we come together, there'll be a star to guide the way. It's inside us every day. See it now, see it now. Let the rainbow remind you that together we will always shine. Let the rainbow remind you that forever this will be our time. were apart, but that's behind us now. See how we've made a brand new start, and the future's looking up. And when you walk these halls, you feel it everywhere. Yeah, we're the Wonder Colts forever. Oh yeah, we are all
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
now it's better than ever. You can feel it. We are back, and I'm so glad that we're better than ever. Whoa, whoa, oh yeah, we're better than ever. Whoa. There was a time we couldn't see past the differences
that separated you and me, and it left us on our own.
but now you walk these halls and friends are everywhere. Yeah, we're the Wonder Colts forever. Oh yeah, we are all together. Now it's better than ever. Now that we are back on track, yes, I'm so glad that we're better than ever. Whoa, oh yeah, we're better than ever. Whoa, oh yeah, we're better than ever. Whoa, oh yeah,
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Ah, Twilight! That was fast. Let me guess. You got a perfect score. A minus?
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Plus? Ah, Twilight! Did you fail?
I was prepared to do my best. Thought I could handle any test. For I can do so many tricks, but I wasn't prepared for this. Levitation would have been a breeze. Facts and figures I recite with ease.
The square root of 546 is 23.366642891009.
She is correct.
I could ace a quiz on friendship's bliss, but I wasn't prepared for this. Will I fail or will I pass?
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
She can't be sure.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
My skills intact, my heart is pure.
Her heart is pure.
Oh, I've taken
It's
my
an improvement,
share
darling.
of licks. I've made it through the thin and thick, but no, I wasn't.
Oh no, she wasn't.
Oh no, I wasn't.
Oh no, she wasn't.
No, I wasn't prepared for this.
Yep, everything's fine.
Life is a runway.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Here's what it's all about. I tell you, life is a runway. Time to bring what's on the inside out into the light.
It needs to be about 20% cooler. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It's an improvement, darling.
When you see it my way, take all the good inside.
It's an improvement, darling.
Fashion is a way to start showing what's in your heart. Call it superficial, I call it irrefutable. Oh, oh,
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
life is a runway. You can be the girl that you wanna be, with a little love and some
It's an improvement, darling.
accessories. Don't be scared to show you have personal style. Just go do your thing, you'll make everyone smile. You can be the girl that you wanna be, with a little love and some accessories. Don't be scared to show you have personal to bring what's on the inside out into the light. It needs to be about 20% cooler. Into the light. Into the light. Into the light. It's an improvement, darling. We made it! Of course we did! We're grown-up ponies now. We can do anything. And all those worries Twilight and the others had don't apply anymore because we're big. And being big is all it takes. Woke up this morning feeling tired and small. But look at us now, we must be 90 feet tall. Don't have to worry about making mistakes because being big is all it takes. It needs to be about 20% cooler. A tiny twist of fate brought on this big change. Give me room, gotta zoom. I've got plans to arrange. Can do what I want, be it run, trot, or traipse. 'Cause being big is all it takes. Being big isn't just a size. At bedtime we don't even have to close our eyes. We're in control now, for goodness sake. 'Cause being big is all it takes. Leaving behind the little pony you've known. Stepping out, growing up, making moves of my own. You can't tell me no, there's no place I can't go. Mountains, cities, jungles, or lakes. 'Cause being big is all it takes. Being big isn't just a size. We'll tell you our opinion 'cause we're oh so wise. We're in control now, for goodness sake. 'Cause being big is all it takes. I can eat all the snacks 'cause that's for me to decide. We know how it all works, even what we ain't tried. Facts don't matter now 'cause it's not what we know. We can win any argument with because I say so. Can't stop us now, don't try to stand in our way. We're awake, gonna take all we can from today. Once we had to listen, now you'll hear what we say. Everything is always okay. 'Cause being big is all it takes. All it takes. It's all mine. For them. For me. For Equestria. You're never gonna bring me down. You're never gonna break this part of me. My friends are here to bring me around. Not singing just for popularity. We're here to let you know that we won't let it go. Our music is a bomb and it's about to blow. And you can try to fight, but we have got the light of friendship on our side. As the music in our hearts, we feel anything apart. And together we will never be afraid of the dark. Here to sing our song out loud, get you dancing with the crowd. As the music of our friendship survives, it needs to be about 20% cooler. You're never gonna bring me down. You're never gonna break this part of me. My friends are here to bring me around. Not singing just for popularity. When I was just a filly, I found it rather silly to see how many other ponies I could meet. I had my books to read, didn't know that I would ever need other ponies to make my life complete. But there was one colt that I cared for. I knew he would be there for me. My big brother, best friend forever. Like two peas in a pod, we did everything together. He taught me how to fly a kite. We never had a single fight. We shared our hopes, we shared our dreams. I miss him more than I realized, it seems. Your big brother, best friend forever. Like two peas in a pod, you did everything together. And though he's oh so far away, I hope that he would stay. My big brother, best friend forever. friendship problem. I'll make a friendship problem. 20% cooler. Plant our candy, sunshine, colorful flowers, so much to do. Tiny seeds. Plant our care with the colorful flowers. It needs to be about 20% cooler. Ground, sunshine, celery stalks. Plant our candy, sunshine, colorful flowers, so much to do. Tiny seeds. Plant our care with the colorful flowers. Test the ground, sunshine, celery stalks. Plant our candy, sunshine, colorful flowers, so much to do. Tiny seeds. Plant our care with the colorful flowers. Test the ground, sunshine, celery stalks. Plant our candy, sunshine, colorful flowers, so much to do. It needs to be about tiny seeds. Plant our care with the colorful flowers. Test the ground, sunshine, celery stalks. Plant our candy, sunshine, colorful flowers, so much to do. Tiny seeds. Plant our care with the colorful flowers. Test the ground, sunshine, celery stalks. Plant our candy, sunshine, colorful flowers, so much to do. Tiny seeds. Plant our care with the colorful flowers. Test the ground, sunshine, celery stalks. Tiny seeds. 20% cooler. Colorful flowers. It needs to be about 20% cooler. Sunshine, colorful flowers, so much to do. Tiny seeds. Plant our care with the colorful flowers. Test the ground, sunshine, celery stalks. Plant our candy, sunshine, colorful flowers, so much to do. Tiny seeds. Plant our care with the colorful flowers. Test the ground, sunshine, celery stalks. Plant our candy, sunshine, colorful flowers, so much to do. Tiny seeds. Plant our care with the colorful flowers. Test the ground, sunshine, celery stalks. Celery stalks. Tiny seeds. Colorful flowers. Test the ground. It needs to be about 20% cooler. Plant our candy, sunshine, colorful flowers, so much to do. Tiny seeds. Plant our care with the colorful flowers. Test the ground, sunshine, celery stalks. It's an improvement, darling.
Wow, that's really impressive.
It's an improvement, darling. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It needs to be about 20% cooler. That's what you are to me. Couldn't see what was right there in front of me. Turned my back. every friendship is tested. You say sincere, but it's all unclear now. But with a word, everything changes, and just like that, you and I are right back. You and I are right back. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It's an improvement, darling. Hi, girls.
Back in the day, I used to walk these halls acting tough, but all alone. I needed a friend to lend me a helping hand. I couldn't do it on my own. We've come so far
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
memories to treasure. I look at you, stories come back to life. And if I need reminding, I know where I can find you. In these pages, you'll last forever.
For me, for Equestria.
Remember when I lost the crown? You didn't leave me out in the rain. We still had songs to sing. Magic transforming, special in every way. The gems chose us by name. We've come so far together, got memories to treasure. I look at you, stories come back to life. And if I need reminding, I know where I can find you. Pages you'll last
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
pages you'll last forever.
It's an improvement, darling.
In these pages you'll last forever.
It needs to be about 20% cooler. It needs to be about 20% cooler. needs to be about 20% cooler.
Never been someone good, but you make me take all those ghosts, and suddenly you disappear. That is what I mean, what I'm talking. You make me do things that I cannot say. Just how I say you're on me. Oh yeah, you make me feel so nice when you're on my side. Hey. Cause all I do is think about you. I feel crazy when I look at you, yeah. Cause all I do is think about you. Is think about you. Is think about you, babe. All I do is think about you. I feel crazy when I look at you, yeah. Cause all I do is think about you. Is think about you. Is think about you, babe. Cause all I do is think about you, about you, I think about you, about you, but you made me take.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Cause all I do is think about. Hey, do is think about you. Think about you. Think about you. Disappear, make me take off.
We're far apart in every way, but you're the best part of my day. As sure as I breathe the air, I know we are the perfect pair on a prickly path that goes on for miles. But it's worth it just to see you smile. And I cannot hold you have on my heart. And even if the world tells us it's wrong, you're in my head like a catchy song. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The seasons change and leaves may fall, but I'll be with you through them all. And rain or shine, you'll always be mine. On a prickly path that goes on for miles, you're the only one who makes it all worthwhile. And you should not blame me too if I can't help falling in love with you. And you should not blame me too if I can't help falling in love with you.
First moment of my first minute with you. Your smile itself was more than I kept trying so I could see it again. Just one more day, just one more life, just one more way to make this last.
It needs to be about 20% cooler. It's an improvement, darling. It needs to be about 20% cooler. I'll cook up a solution with the knowledge I've accrued. They say a kitchen time saves 9, but I'm just saving 2. I've gathered the ingredients to make some time sorbet. There's hardly room for seconds when the seconds melt away. Watch as I work my dips to be about 20% cooler.
1, 2, 3, 4. Together we can raise this barn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, up, up. Go to beams, hammer those joints, work in teams. Turn around quick by the right elbow. Grab a new partner, here we go. Raise this barn, raise this barn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Together we can raise this barn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, up, up. Go to beams, hammer those joints, work in teams. Turn around quick by the right elbow. Grab a new partner, here we go. Raise this barn, raise this barn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Together we can raise this barn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, up, up. Go to beams, hammer those joints, work in teams. Turn around quick by the right elbow. Grab a new partner, here we go. Raise this barn, raise this barn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Together we can raise this barn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up, up, up. Go to beams, hammer those joints, work in teams. Turn around quick by the right elbow. Grab a new partner, here we go.
It needs to be about 20% cooler. 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 Best friends. Best friends.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Friendship used to make me so queasy, queasy, but you made it all so easy, easy. Now I don't have to say what I'm thinking. Okay, wait. So you had how many brothers?
12 older brothers. 10 of them ignored all of the parties I threw for them. Seriously, for 3 years!
That's horrible.
It's what brothers do.
And sisters. I used to throw tons of parties for my sister Maud when we were little. But then, one day, she just shut me out. And I never knew why.
I would never shout you out.
Okay, can I just say something crazy?
I am crazy.
All my life I've thrown a party, no pony understood. And then suddenly I bump into you.
I was thinking the same thing. Cause like, I had traveled all my life just trying to find the greatest super party pony who can party like me.
But with you,
I found my place. And it's sweeter than a chocolate cake galore. Long as the yummy's smart. Long as the yummy's smart. Long as the yummy's smart. With you. Long as the yummy's smart. I mean, it's awesome. We finish each other.
Cinnamon buns?
That's what I was hungry for.
I would've never known
You party just like me. Jinx. Our mental synchronization can't have the one explanation. You were meant to be.
Say goodbye.
Say goodbye to the pain of the past. We don't have to feel it anymore. Long as the yummy's smart. Long as the yummy's smart.
Life would be so much more ridiculous. Long as the yummy's smart.
Can I say something crazy? Will you be my special sun pony?
Can I say something even crazier? Yes!
Well, that's boring.
What is this weird show? It's like the only thing you know. You talk about it every day. You know this is child's play. Your path ahead is blurred, told to go join in on the herd. You know this show's for younger crowds. How can you say you're proud? Now think, brony, think everything in here is pink. You spend your precious time, now you're walking up my line, and then you have the nerve to ask me to observe these girly things. You open your mouth and sing. Ponies aren't just for girls, let this tale unfurl. Twilight sparkle, pinkie pie, applejack and fluttershy. Do not be afraid, we will never fade. Rainbow dash and rarity, join the herd, and you will see. Hey, this show's not bad, I'll give it to you, I'm real glad. I never thought I'd like this stuff, thought I was just too tough. I'm sorry I was rude, I feel happy and renewed. And even though I feel naive, I find it hard to leave. So thanks, Brony, thanks. My mind was shooting blanks. I feel like such a fool who knew ponies were this cool. Now wait for Saturday for the show to play. What will it bring? We open our mouths and sing. Ponies aren't just for girls, let this tale unfurl. Twilight sparkle, pinkie pie, applejack and fluttershy. Do not be afraid, we will never fade. Rainbow dash and rarity, join the herd, and you will see. So thanks, Brony, thanks. Looks like I've joined your ranks. I never could repay what you've done for me today. So thanks, Brony, thanks. Looks like I've joined your ranks. I never could repay. Pony ponies are just for girls.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Twilight sparkle, pinky pie, applejack and fluttershy. Do not be afraid, we will never fade. Rainbow Dash and Rarity, join the herd. The new worlds are just for girls. Let this tale unfurl. Twilight sparkle, pinky pie, applejack and fluttershy. Do not be afraid, we will never fade. Rainbow Dash and Rarity, join the herd.
It needs to be about 20% cooler. For them, for me, for Equestria. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It's all mine. For them, for me, for Equestria. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It needs to be about 20% cooler. 20% cooler.
My lullabies have carried you softly to sleep.
It needs to be about 20% cooler. It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Once did a pony who shone like the sun look out on her kingdom and sigh.
It needs to be about 20%
She
cooler.
smiled and said, surely there is no pony so lovely and so well beloved as I.
Listen closely. This is important.
It needs to be about
So
20%
great
cooler.
was her reign and so brilliant her glory that long was the shadow she cast, which fell dark upon the young sister she loved and grew only darker as days and nights passed. Lule Moon Princess, good night, sister mine. Rest now in moonlight's embrace. Bear up my lullaby, winds of the earth, through cloud and through sky and through space. Carry the peace and the coolness of night, and carry my sorrow in kind. Luna, your love so much more than you know. Forgive me for being so blind.
It's an improvement, darling.
Soon did that pony take notice that others did not give her sister due, and neither had she loved her as she deserved. She watched as her sister's unhappiness grew. But such is the way of the limelight, it sweetly takes hold of the mind of its host. And that foolish pony did nothing to stop the destruction of one who had needed her most. Lule Moon Princess, good night, sister mine. Rest now in moonlight's embrace.
It needs to be about 20%
Bear
cooler.
up my lullaby, winds of the earth, through cloud and through sky and through space. Carry the peace and the coolness of night, and carry my sorrow in kind.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Luna, your love so much more than you know.
For them.
Troubles
For me.
be far from your mind.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
And forgive me for being so blind.
Wow, that's really impressive.
It needs to be about 20% cooler. For them. For me. For Equestria.
The years now before us, fearful and unknown, I never imagined I'd face them on my own. May these thousand winters swiftly pass, I pray.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
I miss you all these miles away. May all your dreams be sweet tonight.
It needs to be about 20% cooler. It's an improvement, darling. It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Not of sadness, pain.
stunning.
When I dream, I'll fly away and meet
For them, for me, for Equestria. It needs to be about 20% cooler. It's all mine. It needs to be about 20% cooler.